I was born in Orlando, Florida, Mercy Hospital, but I resided in Apopka, Florida, a few miles out of Orlando. My life as a childhood growing up, I was always into sports, even from Pop Warner, even through high school into college, My mother did a great job of raising me, my grandmother, my grandparents, and we always had to go to church and everything, and so it was a pretty lucrative life, struggles here and there, but the Lord, my mother was a woman of faith, and that's where we went. I started using drugs, alcohol, I think back in 1981. It started off with a Stroh's beer, and it increased the marijuana, and then in my latter years it developed the crack cocaine, which was my last drug of choice. So drugs cost me basically the majority of my life. First of all, it cost me from college. I went to college 3 years and quit. I got married, lost my family, houses, cars, and of course all sorts of money and stuff, and most of all it cost me my relationship with God. But throughout the years of drug use, my tolerance increased, so therefore I was spending a lot of money and losing things in the process, robbing Peter to pay Paul, and it's just a horrible life, I would take my paycheck and stay out all weekend and spend my whole paycheck and then try to run back home. Throughout all that there, I was getting paid good sums of money, and the Lord, and I seen one time I had, $10,000-$12,000 in the bank, and the next thing I know, the money was gone. I had depleted the funds out of the bank. When I became homeless, I went to the homeless shelter. It had been some years ago. I went to the homeless shelter. I walked out of court getting a divorce with my wife, and they unearthed my car and everything. So it was snowing. I was walking down the road, didn't have a place to go, and didn't even have clothes, so I had to wait. So that was the lowest point of my life, and then I had to go to the homeless shelter. And throughout all this process and criminal charges, a lot of charges, DWI, domestic violence, all them type of charges were held against me. When the Lord saw me through all this here, it was horrible, because drugs and alcohol make you do things that you don't want to do. Throughout my life, as a young lad, I was raised up in the church, but throughout I was in and out of church. My last time in 2016, September the 19th, 2016, I entered into the refuge ministry. September the 29th, after September the 19th, September the 29th on my birthday, I got baptized into Raccoon Creek. That was one of the greatest times of my life. And Raccoon Creek is just right up the road here. And that was some joy. And I think from that point on, I had tunnel vision, focusing on Christ. And Christ is the answer, I'm a sinner and I need a Savior. And that Savior is Jesus Christ. I got addiction, but I got a sin problem more than anything. I got a sin problem, and if I can put that sin problem into rap, keep that into raps, then I'll be closer to Jesus. Jesus is the antidote to any problem, whatever, alcohol, drugs, women, cars, whatever you put above Jesus, Jesus is the antidote. Revelation 12:11 says we're overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. I think about, I do things irrational, but The drugs and alcohol is behind me, and you know the Lord has blessed me. I serve under Pastor Jim Stewart, and great man of God. And Living Water Worship Center is a lovable church, and Living Water Champion Network meet every Thursday night at 6:30 p.m. Everyone is invited. If you need a ride, I'll come get you. And God is the answer. Jesus is the answer to all our problems and care. Lives affected by addiction changed through Jesus Christ. That's what it's all about. It's all about Jesus. I put Jesus above anything, and you know I'm gonna have a very lucrative life. The Lord will bless you. He said, "Come to all who are burdened and heavily laden, and I will give you rest." That's a true statement. He gave me rest, so therefore He'll give you rest. Whatever you need, Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer for the world today. Above Him there's no other. Above Him